So, Hare Krishna, everyone. Greetings from near Zagreb in Velika Gorica, the big little mountain, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah. There's no mountain anyway.
There's no mountain. It's totally flat. That's funny. Okay. Today we're going to have a somewhat shortened session. We'll stop maybe half an hour earlier because I have another event starting at 3 o'clock our time here, which goes for 2 hours. And so I think I can use a little break before or in between. So with your permission, we will do like that. Okay, whoops, what happened? Suddenly, I don't see any faces. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. As I was saying, we're going to have a somewhat shorter session today. We can do as we do with Srila Narottama Thakur's song and maybe a bit of Narottama Abhilasa. And then a bit of, let's see, show and tell, some reading. We'll see what happens. Maybe some of you have something you want to share. That's always nice. And let's go to Narottama Thakur's song, which is, where is it? It's here. I think I'll go straight into today's song instead of reviewing. So, share screen. Okay. Narottama Thakur's song number 2. Yes, we had a very long 20-verse song. Was number 1. So finally, after 4 sessions, now the 5th session, we have song number 2 that begins Anya, Abhilasa, Chadi, or in Bengali, Anno, Abhilasha, Chadi. Anna abhilāsa chadi, gyan karma parihari, kai mane, koribo bhajan, sādhu sanga Krishna sevā, na pūjibo anna devā, bhakti parama kāran. Oh, this is also a long song. Ooh. Also 20 verses. All right. Okay, I'm going to be scrolling a lot. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada has said in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, Uttama Bhakti, or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal jnāna, and all other selfish desires. Now, I don't know if that's taken as a translation of number 1. Yeah, it looks like. So we're getting essentially a Bengali kind of translation or commentary on this verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anya abhilāshita shunyam jñāna karma dhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. So Anya abhilāsa chadi, which would be, again, as so many times, the full word would be chadiya, so having given up. Gyan karma parihari, circumventing, I would say, parihari, but also completely rejecting karma and jnana. Kāya bhajan. So kāya is one of a few words for body. There's deha, there's sharira, there's kāya. And mane means in the mind. Koribo bhajana. And that's the future tense. Koribo, I will do. What will I do? I will do bhajana. Where will I do it? With the body and the mind. Sādhu Sanga Krishna sevā. Na pūjibo Anya devā. I will not worship pūjibo. Na. Anya devā. I will not worship other gods. Bhakti parama kāran. This is the kārana. This is the cause. What kind of cause? Parama kārana, the highest. Of what? Of bhakti. And a is this pronoun, this very one, this very bhakti. Mahājanera je patha, tāte, hobo, anuratā, purva para kāya vichar. Let's see what we can get from this without looking at the translation. So the patha, the path, which is J of the mahājanas, mahājanera, J patha, tāte, that path, hobo, will become, I will be, anuratā, following and attached to, purva apara, Korya vichar. Purva is previous. Apara is, so maybe from beginning to end. I don't know. Korya vichar, having reflected about this. Maybe purva para in all respects. I don't know. Sarana, smarana, lila, ihate nakoro hela, kai mone korya susar. So sadhana, the practice, what is the practice? Smarana lila, lila smarana, remembering the lila, the pastimes. Ihate na koro hela. So hela is inattention or neglect. So don't neglect this. I will not neglect. But it's koro, so you should not neglect, something like that. Kāya mone, in the body and the mind. Korya susar, having done susara, the good essence in the body and the mind. I don't know. Let's see what Dasharat Suta's translation is. Rejecting all other desires and abandoning philosophical speculation and fruitive work, in the company of the devotees, I will worship and serve Lord Krishna with my body and mind. I will not worship the demigods and demigoddesses. Devotional service is the reason for my life. Now that looks like translation of the previous verse. So again, we have a bit of a numbering confusion. So translation of number 3 would be, number 3 translation is number 2 Bengali. Devotedly follow the path of the great devotees in the past. Okay, now he's speaking like an instruction. Do like this. Devotedly follow the path of the great devotees in the past. Properly using your body and mind. Susara, I guess, is properly. Don't neglect either the regulative devotional practices. So, ihate na, whatever it was, or the remembrance of the Lord's pastimes, which was smarana lila. Okay, then number 3. Ashat sangati sada tyaga koro annagita. Karmi gyani parihari dure. Yes. Kevala bhakata shango prema bhakti rasharango. Lila kata braja rasa puri. So asat sanga sada, always tyaga koro. Reject asat sanga. And I think the word tyaga koro is going both directions. So tyaga koro Anya Gita, reject other songs. Karmi gyani parihari dure. And completely put at a distance the karmis and the gyanis. Kevala bhakata shanga, pure bhakti association, prema bhakti rasa ranga, relish ranga, prema bhakti rasa, lila kata, vraja rasa pure, which is full, I guess, pure, of the rasa of the lila the Lila Katha of Raja, something like that. Always, and now we get Dasharatha Sutta's translations, always reject the company of the impious. Give up attraction to non-devotional songs. That means we have to renounce
Rolling Stones.
all Rolling Stones, yeah. Sorry, devotees, my dear devotees, whatever attachment you had to Rolling Stones. Leave the karmis and jnanis far away. So jnani karmi parihari dure. Only associate with the devotees, take pleasure in hearing the nectar descriptions of pure love for Krishna. Become flooded, pure, I think, by the nectar of the narrations of the Lord's pastimes in Vraja. And we can start now with the translation, putting the yogis, swamis, karmis, jnanis, demigod worshippers, and meditators far away, and rejecting the torments that are fruitive work, ordinary religion, and the other yogas, worship Lord Giridhari. Yogi Nyasi Karmi Jnani Anna Deva Pujak Dhyani Iha Loka Dure Parihari Dharma Karma Dukkha Shoka Jeba Take Anna Joga Chadi Bhajo Girivaradari. There's a kind of bounce to the Bengali sometimes. Yogi Nasi Karmi Jnani Anya Deva Puja Jnani. And we can do one more verse. Tir Padram. Kevala Maner Brahm. Oh. Sarva Siddhi Govinda Chara. Vishwas Kori. Moda Matsarja Parihari Shada Koro Ananna Bhajana. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. Tirtha Yatra Parishrama means, I think, big endeavor, that which makes one shrama very exhausted. Kevala Maner Brahm, it's simply the wandering of the mind. Brahm means like aimless wandering. So the aimless wandering of the mind, that's all that Tirtha Yatra is. Sarva Siddhi Govinda Charan. The lotus feet of Govinda constitute all perfection. Sudrida Vishvas Kori, and that would be Koriya, having established firm faith. Sudrida is firm, strong, and Vishvas is faith. Moda Matsarja Parihari, giving up or rejecting madness and envy. Shada Koro Ananya Bhajana. Always do Ananya Bhajana. Bhajana, which is literally not another. So fixed on the Lord. Okay, let's see what we have here. The struggle to travel to various holy pilgrimage places, it's simply the mind's mistake. Because, yeah, Maner Brahm. Right? Because to make spiritual advancement, all one actually needs is the lotus feet of Lord Govinda. Abandoning pride and envy, and with firm faith in your heart. Always worship Lord Govinda without deviation. Okay, so okay, good. Now I will stop sharing so that I can turn music on and then again share. Okay, now we need to call up all our musicians. Are you going to join us? Sure. We have Rasadari Hari on the little mridanga. And we have our star kartal player, Simantadvi. And Apsara Kunda is going to back up with hand clapping. Yeah, this should be quite a band. Anya abhilāsa Chadi jñāna karma parihari abhilāsa jñāna karma parihari kāya koribo bhajana koribo sādhu Sanga Krishna sevā pūjibo Anya devā sādhu Sanga Bhakti parama kāran mahājanera patha tāte hobo Narottama pūrvapur kāya para koriya sadhana smadana nila ihatena koro hela sadhana kāya koriyasu kāya koriyasu sat sangati sade jaga koro Anya kita Dasa sada jaga koro Anya kita karmic jnāni parihari dure jnāni kevalama patha Sanga Prema Bhakti rasa ranga Vilakata Brajerasa Puri Yogi Nyasi Karmigyani Anna Deva Pujadyani Ihaloka Dure Pari Dharma Karma Dukkha Shoka Jeva Tāte Anya Yoga Dharma Karma Dukkha Shoka Chadi Vajo Girivara Dari Chadi Vajo Girivara Dari Tirtha Jatra Parishrama Kevalamājanera Tirtha Jatra Parishrama Kevalamājanera Sarva Siddhi Govinda Charana Sudridha Vishvasa Pari Madam Matsarja Parvas Madam Matsarja Parihari Sada Koro Ananyera Bhajana Sada Koro Ananya Bhajana Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, 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 Gaur Haribo. Very good. Mridanga playing and kartal playing and hand clapping. Okay. Now, sessions off. Okay. Good. Now, a few sentences. Our neighbors. Did we start the sixth abhilās last time? I don't know. Okay, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, and all the devotees. Please bestow your benedictions upon this fallen soul. All glories to the merciful listeners. Now, attentively as I continue this narration. So this is who is this? Narahari Chakravarti Thakura, yes? Must be. Who is blessing us and inviting us to listen. At an auspicious time, should I also share this? I guess it's easier for translators. Okay. At an auspicious time, Narottama crossed the Padmavati and entered Sri Kshetra. So finally he's coming home. Little bit on the geography here. So the Ganges, as it's called in English, or the Ganga River, of course, comes down from the Himalaya and enters into what's now India and goes across pretty much from northwest to southeast, more eastward than southward. And then it branches, before it goes into what's now Bangladesh, it branches. And what we call the Ganga at Navadvip and Mayapur is going almost straight north-south, although it actually is twisting around many times. And we call that the Ganga. And it's also, I don't know why, it's called the Hooghly. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the map.
Yeah, they call it the Hooghly River. But as soon as, before it branched, or after it branches north of Navadvip, quite a bit north, it branches. So the left branch, you could say, if we were facing east, goes into what's now Bangladesh. And as soon as it goes into Bangladesh, it's called no longer the Ganga, it's called the Padmavati.
Oh.
Who knows why? There's probably an explanation. And it's on the Padmavati that Sri Kshetra, this place where Narottama comes from, this village. And I've probably told this before, but I'll tell again that I've been there once, many years ago, with my godbrother Kiranas Prabhu, who is a fluent Bengali speaker, even coming from America. We went there and we had absolutely no idea where we're going to stay or what we're going to do. And so, because we had a fluent Bengali speaker, just the two of us, we went up to one small house and knocked on the door and politely asked if it was possible that we could stay the night. And the people were just so totally welcoming. It was amazing. Just immediately, there was no question. There was no hesitation. There was no, well, I don't know. I mean, who are you and where do you come from? And nothing. It was like, yes, please. And we were Westerners. We're not, yeah. And they made some arrangement and we stayed that night. And then
did they ask you about what we are doing or these things?
I don't remember that, probably so, but yeah, I couldn't follow the conversation. Yeah, and then the next day we kind of wandered about in that area. I don't remember a village. I maybe ruins of some pucca building. Otherwise, it's just fields, just flat fields, and not many trees, and one small mound, maybe 2 meters in diameter, going up maybe half a meter or so. And the story was, this is where Narottama Das Thakura used to sit and chant japa. It was just kind of out in a field, as I remember. Memory is a funny thing, so that may not mean very much. In the evening, when Narottama was finally alone, he began to think deeply about his devotional service to Sri Krishna. Eventually, by the Lord's arrangement, he finally fell asleep late in the evening. In a dream, the son of Shachi told him, "Oh, Narottama, in the hope of your coming here, I hid myself in the form of a metal deity in the house of an influential landlord. Everyone knows him because he is a rich man with many rice godowns." Rice godowns, storage place for rice. But no one will approach these godowns because they're full of poisonous snakes. In one of the bigger godowns, I have concealed myself. Quickly go and open the door of that godown and bring me to your house. He then advised Narottama to have more deities made and then vanished after embracing him. So this is now, I don't know how many times Mahaprabhu has appeared to Narottama in dreams, at least 3 or 4 times. the last time I believe was in Puri. It seemed like more than a dream. It's kind of incredible vision of all the devotees, including Mahaprabhu in the Kirtan, in the Ratha Yatra. And there, Mahaprabhu gives him instruction to go back to Khetri. And there he should establish his new style of Kirtan. One thing that kind of surprises me about this description is there's absolutely no mention of his family. He's returning home. He ran away from home and went to Vrindavan. And now he's coming back. But he came back before. Anyway, you'd think, there would be some reception, oh, you're back. There's no mention at all. That's quite strange. Okay, so we will leave it at that as a cliffhanger. What happens next? Right? Srila Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. So in the song we're singing, I shouldn't mention, but I think it's clear, this is Narottama is giving in Bengali the teaching of Rupa Goswami from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we could say that he felt this is part of his mission. He has been in Vrindavan all of these years, and what's happening in Vrindavan? Well, that's where the Goswamis were composing their literature in Sanskrit. And Sanskrit is not going to be much use for most of the people in Bengal. Krishnadas Kaviraj was commissioned to write Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is Bengali but has many Sanskrit verses. But he always explains the Sanskrit verses in Bengali. So similarly here in that song, song number 2, of which we've taken the first five verses, he's explaining teachings of Rupa Goswami. And we know he's explaining this one single verse, Anya abhilāsa shunyam. He's giving this definition of pure bhakti. And then in all of the verses that we have read and sung, these 5, we'll see whether it continues more explanation. Good. Srila Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, news and views. Latest news is that Radhadesh Mellows is the place to go in January. Be there or be square. I was fortunate to be there. Anandamayi also came, and Bhagavati Mataji is anyway in Radhadesh, and Johannes also came all the way from Oslo. And let's see, did anyone else? Yes, Yamuna was also there. And I was also there. And the sort of new thing this time was that it was for the first time held in their new Prasadam hall. They've been building for the last year, I guess. Very nice, much larger space than what they call the community hall. But still too small for the Radhadesh Mellows, because I don't know how many devotees actually came, but the rumor was that some 2,000 devotees were expected. I'm reasonably sure that many were not fitting into this hall at any one time, but whatever. After that, I made a visit to just outside of Rotterdam, where Shyama Hari and Nitai Ati Priya are residing with their cat, Laika. Very unusual cat. A very fat cat, I have to say also. And we were visited by Samyakarani, who, after we read some Brhad Bhagavatamrta, had a question, which I would invite her to repeat now, but she's busy translating. So that's not going to work. But maybe we could reread a very interesting passage, Volume 2, Brhad Bhagavatamrta.
Tu glavno samo. Ana, pokaži prst. Desno. Desno. To je prvi dio, drugi dio. No, ne, ta. Debelo. Ne, debelo. Ali drugi dio.
Volume 2. Let's see. Chapter 4. So, as most of you maybe know, Brhad Bhagavatamrta is Srila Sanatana Goswami, sort of narrative commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And essentially two stories. The story of Narada in the first part. Narada is searching for that devotee who has received the most mercy, the greatest mercy of the Lord. And so he makes a tour of the universe, and he ends up meeting Lord Krishna in Dwarka with his queens. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. And then the story of Sri Gopakumar. And he's speaking, let's see, in this passage, I'm reading now from chapter 4, which is the subject of chapter 4 is Vaikuntha, because he's been traveling also, progressing up eventually to Golokadam, isn't it? And so now he's speaking to one Brahmana, and he wants to free him from doubts and misconceptions by explaining the priceless essence of Vaishnava philosophy. Then Narada, he's reporting what Narada has told him. And this is what he says. I just found this so amazing. Sri Narada Uvacha, Pashupakshi Ganan Vriksha Lata Gulma Trinadikan, Atra Drishtan Namanyasva, Parthivangs tamasan iva. This is verse 139 of chapter 4. Sri Narada said, don't think that the flocks of animals and birds of this place, meaning Vaikuntha, or the trees, the creepers, the bushes, the grass, and other vegetation, don't think that they are made from earth like ordinary creatures in the mode of ignorance. So this tells us that, for one thing, it tells us that Vaikuntha has all different sorts of living beings, not just. We always think there are all these four-armed clones of Lord Vishnu, and they're all just kind of standing around with their four arms waving in the air. I don't know. But here it says, no, there are animals, birds, trees, creepers, bushes, and they're not like in this world. And he goes on to say, Etehi Sachit Ananda Rupaha Sri Krishna Parshadaha Vichitra Sevanandaya Tat Rupani Bibrati. In fact, these are all personal associates of Sri Krishna, all with spiritual Sachit Ananda bodies. They have assumed such forms to taste the ecstasy of serving the Lord in various ways. Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, who is often summarizing Sanatana Goswami's auto commentary, says that these Vaikuntha Vasis, these residents of Vaikuntha, choose to play such roles and to increase the variety of Lord Narayana's pleasure. So that's interesting. They are choosing. They're not forced. And it seems like it's not that they've just kind of discovered this is what I am. I'm a creeper, and that's just how it is, and I better be satisfied with that because that's what I am. Here he says, no, they choose these roles to play to satisfy the Lord. Thus, the birds and creepers described by Lord Brahma in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when he tells of his own experience of Vaikuntha, are not ignorant creatures like the corresponding species of life in this material world. Now, it goes further. There's more on this. Yat varnavat yat akarang rupang bhagavato syaye nija priyatamatvena bhavayanto abhajanan imam. They have assumed forms with colors and shapes similar to those of the Lord they have worshipped as most dear. Now, at this point, you could wonder, what does this mean? Well, we have a commentary. This verse indicates that Vaikuntha devotees who appear in non-human forms, such as those of some animal or plant, have worshipped similar forms of Lord Narayana, who, by his expansion, appeared in those same species. These devotees, each in his own way, have realized the perfection of sarupya, having the same form, having attained forms that look just like those of the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord is taking forms of all these different plants and animals. And they're worshiping them, and then they're appearing with those forms in Vaikuntha. That's what it says. Yes, and here more specifics. Tadrisham te asya sarupyam prapta nana kriti shriya manushya munayo devā rishayo matsya kachapa. Having each attained sameness with a particular form of the Lord, they have gained the opulences of various kinds of bodies, as sages, demigods, fish, tortoises, human beings, and mystic seers. And now get this. Varaha narasingascha vamanascha tri lochanaha chaturmukha sahasrakshaha mahapurusha vigraha. Some have become hogs, man-lions, or dwarfs, and some have 3 eyes, 4 arms, or thousands of eyes, like the Mahapurusha. And not only that, I think just one more verse. Sahasravaktra suryendu vayuva nyadi rupina chaturbhujadi rupascha tattat veshadi rupina. Some have assumed bodies with thousands of faces of deities as the sun, the moon, and the gods of air and fire. Some have 4 arms, or 8, or 12, or more. Chaturbhujadi rupas, he's translating that way. And various kinds of dress, ornaments, symbols, and other attributes. So, and then there's a longer explanation of that. So, there you go. The Lord and the devotees can appear in so many different forms. I thought that's, as we say in America, cool. And Soumya Karani was then asking, because we were talking about rasa, because Hari Parshada Prabhu from Mumbai, the walking Shastra treasure house, explained in one talk that one can have more than one rasa with the Lord. So we were all kind of just wondering about that. And then Soumya Karani was wondering if one pastime, one lila, would be an example of this, namely, as described in Chaitanya Bhagavata, Nityananda Prabhu has a very special relationship as a mother-child relationship with the wife of Shiva's Thakur, namely Malini. Is that her name? I think so. It's said there that he would sometimes sit on her lap. It's hard to imagine. He was full grown, sit on her lap and suck her breast. Also hard to imagine. Just, the mechanics of it. How did that work? I don't know. And then, so there was that relationship, but then it happened one day that a crow came and stole some item from their puja paraphernalia. And Malini was very upset and anxious that when her husband comes back and sees that this item is gone, he's going to be very angry. And so angry, upset. So she then seems to change her relation to Nityananda and worship him as the Supreme Lord. And so what's going on there? Is that a change of rasa? I would say it's not a change of rasa, it's a change of bhava. It's, yes, there's, we generally understand two categories, madhurya and aishvarya. These are not, well, it's a confusion because madhurya can be a rasa. Aishvarya is not a rasa as such. It's when we say it's a way that the Lord exhibits himself, and it can have to do with, I think, bhava, relation, the mood of a devotee reciprocating. And that can be there, especially in Dvaraka. We see the same thing, of course, in child Krishna and Mother Yashoda, when child Krishna is demanded by Mother Yashoda to open his mouth because the boys say that he has eaten dirt, and she sees in his mouth, and then, whoops, all of her vatsalya is suddenly covered over. How is it covered? It's covered, or rather, it's uncovered. So of seeing in his mouth and seeing herself in his mouth and so on. In that context, we understand it's the play of Yoga Maya, who for general purposes in Vrindavan is, in a sense, covering the devotee's awareness of Krishna as God, but then sometimes uncovers. And that's sort of it's a few times back and forth, opening, closing in the Bhagavatam. So I would say it's the same thing happening with Malini and Nityananda Prabhu. But I wouldn't call that the same thing that would be different rasa. But that's as much as I can say until sometime when I'm, Krishna willing, able to see what is actually going on and not just read and hear about it. Okay.
I have a question.
There's a question, he always indicates this way. So, okay, Rasa Hari.
This is usually in our school, this what is called Ramanuja or what sign in our school. Madhva, it is always not like this, or like this, always like this.
Oh.
When we were young, always like this.
Oh.
At least
around considered school. Polite.
Yeah, it was like we always put like this. So
okay.
Okay, this is also regarding this rasa. Is that same or is completely different what Jiva Goswami said in Sandarbhas, that Gopis has secondary rasa, friendship with Krishna? Because, for example,
Krishna's queens are also in Madhurya rasa,
Mm.
but their secondary rasa is servitude. They're like servants,
Yeah.
and Radharani and others like friends.
Yeah.
Is that like that rasa, or you're talking completely just switching from one to another?
It may well be as you describe. That would be quite understandable, and yeah, it's more understandable, I would say, than just, okay, we're going to turn off one kind of relationship and turn on another one, which is hard to imagine. And I think that would go along with what we were reading the other day, that Gadadhar Das has this Sakya rasa, which is somehow related also with Madhurya. But these are all kind of somewhere. Well, yeah, what I wanted to say actually is that I think it just confirms what we all normally experience, which is that we have relations with each other which are not they're not stereotyped. We have a relation of child to our parents, but that's our particular relation of child to parent. It's not like we're just fitting ourselves into a mold. So within that relationship, yes, there could be some friendship. Hopefully there's some friendship also, and so on. So yeah, there seems to be a recognition of that sort of nuanced character of rasa in the spiritual realm. Certainly it would be like that because this world is a reflection of that world, so it must be like that also. Yeah.
Vadutara has a point.
Oh, Bhakti Sanga. One is that a liberated devotee, as per Baladev Tika in Vedanta Sutra, can expand in 2, 10, 100, 1,000s of forms to serve the Lord in various ways. That means in various rasas. Okay, that would also make sense, yes. Because there would be forms. And I believe, doesn't it, Jiva Goswami say that a devotee can simultaneously serve Krishna in Goloka and serve Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes. I think he says in Shveta Dvipa.
Yeah, Chaitanya.
Yeah. So that's also cool. There's no limits. I know this brings all sorts of questions, like how does that work to have simultaneously more than one form? Like who's in charge and how do they get coordinate? Do they coordinate with each other or they don't? Are they not aware of each other or what? And that brings up questions. What is the nature of the soul?
Do they meet?
Do they meet? Do they ever meet and say, hey, I know you from somewhere? Okay. Marisha Sudevi points out, as a wife, I am servant, best friend, lover, and teacher. Oh, that's nice. I hope your husband is happy when you are his teacher. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so where am I here? Let's close this, and I wanted to here. Well, our time is kind of already coming toward the end. Does anyone have anything more you want, or anything you want to share briefly? Otherwise, I'm gonna. Gopi Krishna in Shanghai. You'll have to unmute before we can hear you.
Yes. Maharaj, I'm curious about the neutral relationship. What is it like? Is that animal or tree, stones, or some object has such a relationship? But there's also some jñānis or in this kind of mood. But from some explanation, I feel this kind of relationship doesn't have a very intimate feeling with Krishna. They just satisfied with glorifying the Lord or singing some songs. Just so their mood is quite quite distant from Krishna. They just happy to do some service, but without ecstatic love, right?
Sometimes Shanta rasa is, I think Prabhupada uses the word awe and veneration. So yes, it tends to be from more of a distance. And I sometimes think of Shanta rasa as a kind of tatastha, kind of in-between position. And I also, it seems to me that it's a broad category. As you mentioned, it can include animals and plants, but it can also include jñānis. There would be quite a range, kind of a what's the word I want? There's a whole range that from, one sort of Shanta rasa to another sort of Shanta rasa. And some of those may be very close to Krishna, but in a way keep some distance. There could be also a mix there of Shanta and Dasya, because, for example, the trees that are bearing fruit in Vrindavan, they are giving in service, they're giving their fruit and their flowers to Krishna and so on, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Very briefly, quickly, Jagan Mangala Hari, you have your hand up.
All glories to you, Gurudev.
Hare
All glories to Hare Krishna, to all devotees. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I want to invite you to our Ratha Yatra. I see that you are in the near. We have on 21st of June in Rijeka, Ratha Yatra, and I would also like to be our guest in our house. If it's possible to see us. I don't know how long you stay in Zagreb. You are now in Zagreb. I don't know how long you stay
I'm
there.
here just until this coming Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So maybe it's possible just to jump over to see you. Susan asked me to. She would like to see you very much. Me too.
You're welcome to come here. I'm not so keen to travel there.
Yes. We can contact us. So
yeah,
it's very nice. Thank you.
Okay, I have noted the 21st of June on my calendar, and
yes,
we will see.
Thank you.
I can't say for sure now.
Haribo.
And then there was, let's see, Vrindapati had his birthday yesterday. Vrindapati, are you there?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
How does it feel to be 1 year older?
I feel I should reverse my aging really and go back the other way. Because I'm 40 now. I turned 40 yesterday.
Oh my God.
So I'm quite shocked actually.
and you're still a bachelor.
I'm still not married, no. So it's embarrassing because my family remind me on a daily basis that I'm not married.
Every day.
Yeah.
All we see is a blank wall on your...
Oh, sorry. I will fix that. Just one moment.
That's all right. We can just imagine your form. Or we can practice smarana. We can remember your form. So, yes, if there's any, so we have an eligible bachelor here. We'll do a little matchmaking. If there's any eligible, what's the word for unmarried ladies? It's not bachelor.
Bachelorette.
Huh?
A bachelorette.
Bachelorette. Then you can let it be known. Okay. Joking aside, all the best for your last year and the new coming year.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And on that note, I think we're going to end now. And all good wishes to you all. Many thanks to our translators. And I forgot to mention Mangala Candrika is also there in Radhadesh. And my thanks to her and her family for hosting me while I was there. We had nice time in Radhadesh. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samanta Bhakta ki jai. Stay sane. And next time we meet, Krishna willing, will be from Mayapur. Yeah, we can try. We'll see how the connection is. But next week, I'm going to be in Mayapur, Krishna willing. Yeah, like that. Okay. Gaur Premanande Hari.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.